Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the Omnichannel Podcast, a podcast from digital marketers to digital marketers. I'm your host, Dominique Legrand, and my mission is to help fellow marketers and entrepreneurs to grow their businesses online. So buckle up and let's get started. In today's podcast, I had the amazing Bryan Mills with me, and he's helping coaches to build 20K a month businesses, only working 10 hours a week with very easy plug and play funnels and emails. And if I have to say one thing about Bryan is that he is a master of automating, optimizing, and he really blew me away with how he likes to streamline processes instead of making everything and doing everything manually. I have learned so much from our conversation. I really hope that it's going to be just as useful as it was for me. Thank you so much, Bryan, for coming. We can talk about that exactly because, first of all, I love how your offer is specific. There is clear goals. There is clear value and there's a time as well. You know, you said it's like a 10-hour a week coaching business. So do you mind just walking me through your offer and how did you come up with it and what's your thought process behind it?
The offer itself is geared towards mainly a lot of coaches are getting pushed towards organic marketing, aren't they? You have to do organic, and what they're doing is they're trading time for money. So you pick one, don't you? You either spend money or you spend time. Now, what people aren't doing is they aren't building businesses anymore. So even though it's a coaching business, a lot of people end up with a self-created job. And what I mean by that is you get rid of the day job or it's still a side hustle, and they end up working more hours on their coaching business rather than actually building a business. So they become employed to their own job. Mm-hmm. So I went through this myself and I ended up at burnout. It was ridiculous. I remember by following the strategies my mentors had taught me, my head literally had no capacity for anything else. I mean, even to the point of I'd go to the fridge to decide what I'd want to eat or drink, and I couldn't make that decision because I was following a system that completely burnt me out. So I remember taking a step back, and it just went to a point of if I don't work, I don't earn money. I was like, that's not a business. I was like, I may as well go back to work. So I took a step back, and it was all about leverage. And it was a case of there's so many systems in place that people don't actually teach you. And it was all about implementing those systems in place. You see all these coaches go, I've seen loads of coaches say, hey, build a coaching business with no funnel, no ads, no content, no emails.
Yeah, I see them all the time. I'm like, oh my God, it's just, that's insane.
It's just what are you actually doing? Because basically all they're doing is teaching people to slide into DMs and try and sell something from there. But what they're doing is the people who buy those type of products, they may as well buy the hamster wheel and set it up in their house, their big human hamster wheel, because they're never, ever getting off. And the key to actually running a business successfully is all about systems. So I've managed to get it down to so we take people through a 3-step process. Mm-hmm. So we go, it's processes, automations, and then manual leverage. And I done a training on it the other day. You can't jump straight to manual leverage without sorting out the bottom two. And that causes a real issue for people who try to just go straight into outsourcing. And because everything else isn't sorted, they end up with a problem of they're just giving people rubbish jobs to do, and they're not doing it efficiently, they're not doing it successfully, which ends up causing more problems for them. So they don't successfully outsource. So it's all about mapping out the processes first, then looking at everything and finding where you can automate, because it's surprising how much you can actually automate in your business, and then outsource the rest. And by doing that, you actually create a business rather than a job, and you're able to work a hell of a lot less and then focus just on the business elements, the stuff that makes $3,000 rather than $3.
Mm-hmm. How long would that process take working with you from beginning to finish?
So what it does is it takes, I work with my clients for 6 months. We should see good results from 3, but what I found in my journey is all these 3-month programs, you come across a spike in your business. So because you're working with someone, you're accountable to someone, you end up with a spike in your business of growth, which is actually fantastic. And that spike comes just around the time you're probably about to leave your mentor. So between month 2 and month 3, you get your best spike in your business, which is fantastic. Honestly, I'm glad that happens. But what then happens is a case of you end up obviously leaving your mentor at that time period because that's what they paid for. And you're then on a constant decline or inconsistencies, and it's not creating the long-term stability for your business. So what I do is obviously we should get the results in 3 months, but I stay with you for 6 to make sure everything is working as it should be, rather than, so we're looking at long term rather than short term.
So what are the, obviously, if you guys are doing plug and play funnels and emails, we can talk more about that as well, and like the tools that you teach and provide to these coaches. But what is the initial investment when it comes to obviously automating the inconsistency? Is by, I believe it could be by building a funnel for them or helping them come up with a funnel to generate those recurring clients. So how much the initial investment would be for a coach to get to where they want to be, which is a 20K, what you are saying?
So in terms of what else would they have to pay for outside of the mentorship? Okay, so what we do is you've got obviously a funnel building software, so that's about like $97 a month. You've got an email automation software. If you're starting out, you're probably looking at about $15 a month. A scheduling tool, you can use Calendly, which is free. I use Schedule once, which is about $15 a month. And then outside of that, Zapier, to connect all the dots. I think I pay about $40 a month-ish for that. And then outside of that, everything else is free. I don't use Pipedrive, I use Trello for my CRM. And I use couple that with a Google Sheet and Zapier, and I've got all the data I need.
Yeah. So I guess just circling back to my initial question. So you guys are essentially through this, you said 6 months to period, you guys are taking through coaches of a learning curve when they are provided with a business plan, essentially, to what they should do in order to become a business, rather than individually trying to find people online. Why did you decide to work with coaches specifically, and why did you pick this niche?
So I picked coaches mainly because I went through that journey and went through that pain. I do have a corporate background as well. So I could have picked different niches that I've worked in the past, but especially a lot of industries that I've seen who have the exact same problem. But I worked with the coaches because it's a case of I've been there, I've been through that path, I've been through that pain, and it's hard. And as a coach, as an online entrepreneur, it's a very, very lonely place, especially when things aren't going well. And I wanted to be there in the community to support people and let them know they're not alone, but there is a better way of doing things. The problem with most mentors is they teach you one of the 4 corners, which is like, so I've got a 4-corner model. So the 4 corners are marketing, sales, operations, and delivery. And 9 times out of 10, you're only being taught the marketing element and not being taught the rest. So you're literally only being taught how to be a freelancer rather than a business owner. But we all got into business for the exact same thing. We want more money, we want more freedom, which money brings the freedom. What we don't want is we don't want to be tied to our job or tied to our business. So I worked with them specifically because obviously it's a huge industry. Obviously, there's over 6 million coaches in the whole world, and a lot of them are being taught basically how to have another job. And I wanted to make that change for them, because they didn't get attracted to this just to have the job. They got attracted to get out, and I want to help as many people get out as possible.
Do you see that? What are the requirements for you, first of all, to be able to work with a coach? Like, do you have some prerequisites? Are you taking beginners? Is it someone who already has an established coaching business? Like, do you have any pre-qualifications before they enter into working with you?
So what we usually do is we usually take coaches who have sort of gone through this mentorship process before. So they've gone through and so they've got some marketing elements to them, but what they don't have is clear systems. So we try to take coaches who are already on this journey. We do have a program specifically just for the startup coach, which doesn't go into as much of the system side of things. It goes into the foundation levels. So we do have that element there. If the beginners come through and obviously want to build those systems from day one. But we're looking for coaches who are sort of inconsistently hitting between 3 and 7K a month. So they're hustling like crazy. They're in the DMs 8 hours a day, probably creating content in front of their camera, like just constantly in that grind. And because they've bought a program in the past, which was build a business with no funnels, no website, no emails, no nothing. That is the reason they're stuck in those problems. So we're here to get them out of the maze, show them the path, and then put them back in and let them run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What do you see besides that? I think this whole marketing world of coaches, they really focus on content marketing a lot and naturally attracting clients. What is your client acquisition process for your own business? Because I see you have podcasts, I see you post all the time. Can you just walk me through about the client acquisition process for yourself?
So our Facebook group is one of our biggest assets in terms of generating clients. So we do paid and organic strategies for that. We have the talk show to leverage other people's lists, etc., and get traffic to that group. And that is the biggest asset in that respect. So organic and paid strategies. We are going to, and email marketing. We are going to look to extend out to LinkedIn and adapt the strategies we've got and put them on LinkedIn with a lot of automation as well. Content marketing, which is a hot topic, and organic marketing is a huge thing because everybody's too scared to pay for ads when they start because they don't want to burn through a hell of a lot of budget, but it's actually the fastest way to test. So ironically, when people say like use ads to scale, you should probably use ads as a very small budget to see what people actually click on, and you can do your testing phase instead of a period of 6 to 12 months, probably doing about 2 to 3 weeks, and look how much time you've saved. But people are too scared to do it, which is totally fine. So the other avenue is systemizing your content marketing, which is crucial. You need to get your content marketing system down to an hour a week. And there's a way of doing that in order to extract obviously your main content and putting it into different pieces, etc., and leveraging the likes of the talk show. The talk show equates for a third of my content. And it's a case of I don't have to do anything because the guests, obviously, all I have to do is book the guests and everything else is sort of done because of it. Yeah. So that equates to a third. Then my lives that I do weekly live training for free inside my group. That again equates to another third. I'm 2/3 done, and I don't have to create new stories, new value posts, new engagement posts every day. Probably have to do about 2 a week.
Wow, that's so cool. You mentioned about leveraging others people's list and others people's audience. How do you go into approach those people in the first place to be able to leverage their list and their audience?
So usually when it comes from just obviously consuming other people's content. So when I see people are posting about interviews that they've done, or an interview pops up on my feed or a podcast, etc., I'll go and reach out to them because clearly they're open to the idea. So we scope them out. If they're a good fit for the show, I'll go speak to them and go, hey, loved X, Y, or Z on certain podcasts. If you're up for it, if you're still in podcast mode or talk show mode, I'd love to have you on the show. And then from there, we ask them to promote the fact that they're coming on this show, our show, the Marketing Mastery Talk Show. And then we get to leverage their listing that way. And we made a recent change that they can only access the talk show inside our group, which means they've got to come into our group now. So therefore, it's a case of like, that's how we get people in.
Oh, I freaking love it. My second question would have been is just to ask you about, I just joined your group, by the way, but how do you grow your group in general? But I guess you answered part of that question, but maybe you have other ways of growing a Facebook group.
So as I said, like the three training or the 3 lives that we do a week, and constantly promoting those through our personal profile. So the personal profile is a huge asset. Obviously, you've got the ability to add up to 5,000 friends, etc. And you can remove the ones who don't really engage and add new ones. You've got loads of softwares to do all that. And then using that platform and external groups to attract attention. You attract attention in the external groups, which is daft because people are paying up $5,000 to $6,000 just to get this exact strategy. Obviously, make some noise in external groups, drag them to your personal profile, push them from your personal profile into your group. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
I've just saved all your listeners $5,000.
Have you ever run ads for your group to be able to grow it, or you just completely organically grew it through the strategy?
No, we originally ran some ads to grow it and to fuel the fire when we first launched it. And then we've gone back into ads as well to get more people through the door. Just obviously it's a case of, instead of your manual outreach of like, you have to manual outreach 50 people a day and you have to like connect with X amount of people. It's just a case of, between that, running the ads to get people directly into the group with the freebie and then nurture them from there. So we're getting inbound people who are interested rather than pushing your stuff in front of 100 people and hoping one person likes it.
That's so true. Have you done organic outreach in your business, and what is your kind of like go-to strategy into reaching out cold audiences through DMs?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. There is a need for it to a degree. Obviously, the more lead generation strategies you can have, as long as you don't burn out, obviously it is crucial. I actually use a software to do the outreach for me with the initial messages.
What is the software? You have to tell me.
So I've actually moved softwares recently. I've been playing around with loads for years, but the one that I'm currently at the moment is ELM Messenger.
ELM Messenger?
Yeah, I think that's about $47 to $57 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that literally, I do. So I add the 50 people a day, I message 50 people a day and see what comes back. But I don't focus too much on, even if they accept me and don't answer, I don't follow them up with a message because they've accepted me, that's enough. The fact that they chose not to reply proves either 2 things: they're either busy or they're not interested to talk to me just yet. And then I'll let my content do the talking rather than, hey. So.
Spamming them. Yeah. So you were saying you use this automated messenger outreacher tool. When it comes to crafting your initial messaging, like how do you start? Is it like a Tinder dating app style, like, hey, how are you? Because honestly, I'm not answering those questions anymore.
So what we've been doing lately, and you know what, it's actually been really, it's working. So we followed obviously the hey, how are you introduction style. Then in the exact same message, it's common connection. Like why am I talking to you? Like, especially in the groups, it's, hey, I've seen you in this group, I've seen you active in this group, etc. So that's a nice, easy way. And and then I'll do a lead question relating to that group. And this is where ALM's great, because obviously you can cycle them off into different tags, into different groups, all that type of good stuff. And it'll be a case of, so for instance, with the ClickFunnels outreach, one of my questions is, have you read the traffic, or have you read the Secrets trilogy? Or what do you find the most useful about this group is another one. And because it's not a case of, hey, how are you? How's your business going?
Yeah.
And are you looking to increase your business sales in the next 6 months? Because it's not like that. Like, it makes a massive difference, and the response rate's actually not too bad for cold outreach. Because that equates and starts the first phase of my 3-phase messenger sequence that allows, not script, sequence, that allows people to actually come through to me and book a call.
So the purpose of the cold messaging is to get them to book a call, or like what are you actually optimizing for at this point? Is it to check out your profile? Is it to join a group, or is it to book a call?
So the ideal is you go top to bottom, don't you? So ideal scenario would be cold outreach or warm outreach, whichever, into conversation, problem identification, book a call. So that'd be avenue 1. But obviously that would be a very small percentage of people who'd want to book a call. So then you move to avenue 2, which be, hey, obviously I've got some great training in my free group. That'd be your second phase. Third would just be to continually grow the relationship and the value in your profile, and just eventually they'll come back if they are a good fit. So you try and go for book a call without being a sleaze bag. Then move into push them into the free group with a value training that you've already done. So, hey, actually looking at this, I think looking at your profile, I think with this, I've done a free training on this, I think it would be worth it for you, etc. Move them into the group, because then you're going to capture their email anyway, 9 times out of 10. And then failing that, just become a valued person in their network. And once you've given enough value, once you've took them on enough dates, they'll get married.
Oh, that's true. So I was wondering, you said, the first step would be to identify a problem and get them to book a call with you. I watched a separate training on, I think, Dan's Facebook group. He has a high ticket. I'm not sure if you're in it. I think he's your friend. But in one of his Facebook group, he was talking about the fact that if you are trying to go for the kill, which is you try to get them to book a call, is essentially like you are trying to fuck them without using lubrication. This is what he said. I'm sorry. It's his exact words. But so he was talking about the fact that the first time you interact with them, the first call should really be like a no sales call. And he was saying how you should say that you should leave your credit card at home, and this is essentially to detect whether or not you can help solve them problems. What is your take on that?
I quite like the analogy, in fairness. So obviously the ideal goal is to book the call, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't tell my clients to leave the credit card at home, but it's not a hard sell. Mm-hmm. It's a soft sell. It's a soft call to action to book a call, only if we can potentially help them. And then on that call, 9 times out of 10, I'll be honest, I do not close my first call. Not through a case of, hey, it's a case of, like, I do as much helping as possible. I do as much saving as possible. And then a case of, once I've given them actionable tips, once I've given them X, Y, or Z, if they are interested in the offer, they will always ask me. It's a case of, so what is your offer? And I always get that question, what is your offer? Mm-hmm. Like, how can you help me further? And that's when I'll present it. Mm-hmm. And then it'll be a case of, then from there, we'll book a follow-up call, and we'll probably close the deal on the follow-up call. But in between that, and this is where the systems are crucial. Like, when people book a call with me, they get training, they get taken to a free training page where they can watch free trainings. Mm-hmm. And then from there, the email sequences are starting. So a lot of people get the standard notifications, don't they, from Calendly or schedule ones. Ours is actually effectively a Seinfeld email sequence. that comes through. So we've replaced the notifications with actual content. So we're giving them value straight away. So, and they get those emails scheduled 24 hours before, 5 hours before, 1 hour before, those 3 content-based emails. And then from then, when they don't, obviously, if we don't close the sale first call, which is totally fine, I'm quite happy with that. They move into the follow-up sequence, and they start getting touch or emails again with more value, more training, more tips that are all automatic. It's 10 of them to obviously push them back ready for the call. So when it comes, they've taken up and they've read or watched a lot of content ready for the second call. So the value has been given. And then it's just a case of, can we help? Do you want us to help? Do you want to stay in the problem? Let's move forward.
That's awesome, by the way. I was just talking to someone else about email marketing, and a lot of people have been saying that email marketing is dead. No one reads their emails anymore. Obviously, it's not true, and it's cheap, it's free, and you can provide value through email. That's so awesome that you guys do that.
Yeah, as I say, it's not dead. Don't get me wrong, the open rates aren't as great as what they were, which is totally fine. But you still, on a poor man's average, you still should be able to make $1 per month per lead on your email list. So the bigger it grows, the more money you're going to make. And as you say, that is traffic you own. People can't take that away from you.
Yeah, that's so true. What do you use for the follow-up email sequences? Are you using high level, or what kind of?
Active campaign.
Active campaign. Okay. Yeah, because I use that, you move them to a follow-up sequence. So that I was thinking maybe that could be high level.
No, it's based off the trigger point. So once the schedule once is completed, so it marks as completed in schedule once after 45 minutes or an hour, however long the call is. And so that is the trigger point. Then I make the software wait 15 minutes to see if we have closed the deal, and then a different tag would be added in active campaign. If that tag isn't added in active campaign, the follow-up sequence starts until the sale has been done.
I see. How big is your team, by the way? Do you have VAs to help you out with all of that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 4-man team.
Now, are they all based in the UK, or do you have them overseas?
Various. So I've got people in the UK, and then I've got people overseas.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just thinking, because your systems are, I guess, once they built, it's all about automation, and I love how your approach is to essentially offer that automation, and from then on, it's easier to grow the business without really having to put all of that work on. And once you get those trainings out, that you said you have all these trainings through the sequence of emails, I think that is just really is a plug and play, what you're saying on your Facebook page as well. So what is your biggest fuck up so far? Because there's a section in the podcast that talks about the biggest fuck up. So I just wonder, what's yours?
Right. Okay. Where do I start? That is a really tough question, because like some of the high ticket mentors I've invested in, I've been like, probably shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have got into debt paying that one off. My biggest fuck up in business was probably in a different business, not my coaching business. It was in a different business I'd ran, and I was running events. I was running networking events, specifically black tie, and I went straight to manual leverage phase and outsourced everything straight away. And without processes, without systems, without documents, without everything, I literally just gave it straight to a team. And I remember 3 months before the event, I was effectively in the event 10K in debt, so £10,000 in debt, so about $17,000 in debt. Because I was paying for obviously the hotel, the venue, the food, all of that. I've been paying for a team for 3 months, or 3 to 6 months. And that was literally, I remember looking at New Year's Day going, my event's in 3 months, what the fuck am I going to do? I was like, I've got nobody coming. I've got nothing happening. I was like, there's no money coming in. I was like, and I've now got to do this all on my own because I can't afford my team. So that was the biggest fuck up, being 10K in debt and committing to delivering a huge launch event. And I had to get rid of everyone minus one person. I kept one person, and he is still with me today. All these years later, he is still my top guy who works with me. And he was the only person I kept because he was the only person I could afford. And because I can't do graphics, I'm not a graphic designer. I can't do tech. I wasn't a tech person. And I hustled like crazy and turned it from 10K debt into a £34,000, so probably about $42,000 event.
Wow. That's okay. So if you had to give one advice to, when it comes to business, what would that be? I guess to coaches, let's see, to coaches, one single advice.
One piece of advice. Free isn't always best. Now, what I mean by that is, as we were talking about earlier, like organic marketing is so attractive to coaches because it's free. And that's why so many coaches do it, because it's free. They don't have to give up their time. Then a lot of coaches get attracted to build your coaching business without a funnel, without ads, software, email software, all that. So they're getting attracted to it because they think they're saving money, which they're not. When you, obviously, the only thing you've got is your time. It's the only thing you can't buy back. So it's the one thing you have to protect with your life. And by giving up on softwares, emails, lead generation, all that type of thing, by handing it over and saying, no, I don't need any of that. Let me just hustle. You lose your time, you lose your sanity, you lose your emotional health because you're going for the free options. And it doesn't serve your business long term.
No, that's a really, really good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, just like you mentioned, the hamster wheel, when you're just running in circles and you are just burned out and you try to grow your business and it's just not happening. Do you think that the reason why people go for free is because of a commitment issue, or why do you think a lot of people are trying to organically grow something when is it like a shiny object syndrome? Is it like because they have magical thinking when they believe that's possible? Like, what do you think is the reasoning behind that?
Because the sad thing is people value their money more than they value their time.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I remember listening to Brian Tracy about this, and he was saying that the top 1% is actually working on hourly basis, and they calculate their income on an hourly basis, and everything else that's not making them X amount per hour, they are not doing it. They are delegating, they're outsourcing. And I think even adopting that mentality, when you value your time more, and if you are going to spend 1 hour that's going to be either making you money, or if it's not making you money, you're not going to do it. I think this is when a shift starts in your brain, when you are like, okay, I'm not going to waste 5 hours on messaging people on Facebook waiting for an answer. So I think that's definitely true, that you have to value your time. What is next for you?
We're not on here long. What is next?
What's next?
What is next? Do you know what I'd love to do? I'd love to get and launch some retreats. So having weekend masterminds with like-minded people and hosting them, because I love hosting events. I love speaking on stage, and I love getting the right people together. I think because of my background in events, I think retreats will be next, in terms of obviously finding a gorgeous location, because we've got to enjoy what we do. So let's do what we do in a nice location with a beach and a sea view.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's a bit like Fire Festival, or or the Tony Robbins type of Fiji retreat. Either or, I would love to come.
Oh, 100%. I'll let you know when we get it set up. I've got connections in the Canary Islands, so those islands are beautiful. So that may be one of the locations that we go to.
That's awesome. So how can someone reach you if they want to work with you?
So best place to actually find me is in my Facebook group. So Coaches and Consultants Cool Kids Club.
Mm-hmm.
So in the group is probably one of the best ways to find me. The second would be to reach out to me on my Facebook profile.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Bryan Mills, Bryan with a Y. So if you type in the exact same name as the guy from Taken, then you will find me. I can't believe that out of everything. It's like that name, that spelling, everything. I was like, fuck. It's like, what a way to lose your SEO.
Okay.
Best two places to find me: Facebook group, Facebook profile.
Well, I want to make sure to put both of the links in the podcast episode so people can actually click right through it and don't have to look at the IMDb Taken actors list to find out how to spell your name correctly.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. And obviously, we've just released in the group a training how to create 100% profit coaching business. So I've just done about a 45-minute training in there. So obviously people get in there. When they get welcomed into the group, I'll tag them in that training for them.
Yeah, just don't forget to approve my, I just applied to your group. So I'll
definitely let you know as soon as we finish.
I need to see what you have going on. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Bryan, for being here and talking to me. Again, I'll make sure to put all your links in the podcast episode. And yeah, it was really, really awesome to have you. And I learned so much already. I've taken mental notes and I'm going to start with the automated messaging software for Facebook.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Just even if it's just grow your friends list for people to get eyeballs on your content. Golden.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bryan. Have an amazing week and an amazing day. It was lovely to have you.
Cheers. You too, love. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye, Bryan. Take care.
Bye.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Again, if you want to reach out to Bryan and have him and his team help you systemize and streamline certain operations and processes in your business, definitely reach out to him. I'm going to make sure to tag him. Thank you so much, Bryan, for coming. It was a pleasure to have you. And for you guys, I'll see you next week.